Welcome back to Bear Download on ChicagoTribune.com. I'm Dan Wiederer, joined out here at Hallis Hall by Rich Campbell. Rich, a day after the Bears lose to the Miami Dolphins 27-14 to go to 0-3 at Soldier Field, they're left to pick up the pieces of another disappointing loss. I feel like these chairs should have seatbelts on them because every week we've been riding this roller coaster with this team.
Mine does.
Mine does not.
I'm locked in. Look, by now through 7 games, we see what the Bears are. They're an inconsistent team on both sides of the ball that is prone to turning it over. When they do turn it over, they're going to lose. It starts with the quarterback. When the quarterback protects the ball, they have a chance to win a lot of games. And Jay Cutler's inconsistent play so far is the main storyline of this season. I don't know why people are surprised about it because we've known it all along. It's who he is and it's who he continues to be. So we just have to keep riding the roller coaster.
And we've talked about it all year with this team after big wins and disappointing losses that this roller coaster is going to continue. So if you're at home, be prepared for it because this is what this team is and this is where it's going to go. Obviously, the big storyline out here is Brandon Marshall's post-game reaction, the outburst in front of teammates, a little bit of a rant to the media after that. And how do the Bears process that all? We heard from Jermon Bushman, we heard from Willie Young, we heard from Mark Trestman today. A lot of interesting comments on how to compartmentalize that whole Marshall outtake.
Right, and the Bears are an organization that celebrates players' uniqueness, and as it relates to Brandon Marshall, that comes with his emotional side. And these outbursts from Brandon, I don't think are unique to Sunday's game. Just so happened that the door to the locker room was open. Media were able to hear him venting after a particularly frustrating loss. And I think the situation is we were able to zoom out and talk to many people who are familiar with it, involved in it. It sounds like Brandon Marshall was really venting at the game, at the experience of yesterday. And either Robbie Gould got in the line of fire here, or
no, their lockers are right beside each other. That's something for people at home to understand.
And that was a snapshot of it that reporters were able to hear. I think you zoom back though, and a lot of people understand that this was Brandon venting. It's something that he does. It happens all the time. People digest these post-game emotions and express them differently. And we heard Mark Trestman saying today that players have to appreciate that different aspect of how people go through the ups and downs of winning and losing in the NFL.
I think the biggest question for the Bears is how do you process it all? At what point does it go from that's just Brandon venting to this is getting exhausting? You know, we're trying to bar the door against outside sensationalism, outside storylines, and here you've gone ahead and just dropped it right in the media's lap to make this a week-long story. This will be a story out here, the Bears' cohesion. Can they come together after a particularly disappointing loss with a receiver who's obviously expressing discontent again?
And this is a week after Brandon Marshall passed out the bunker down, no noise t-shirts out there. It's a bit ironic. And I think you go to the head coach now. Mark Trestman has preached his entire tenure here, respect and humility inside the locker room, preparing players to stay together, not only in adverse times, but in times where they're experiencing success. It's going to be tested now, and that's the weight of expectations. The expectations that were on this team to be an excellent offense, they're not meeting those, and so you're going to be tested in terms of your leadership and your ability to process results.
There's so many different layers to this, and some of this is obviously Mark Trestman has an ability to be an emotionally steadying force, and I think that's something that players come to respect. Now, can that improve your defense? Can that allow your offense to have more productive first halves, second halves, consistently? That remains to be seen. Obviously, Mark Trestman will try to level this thing off emotionally, but now you got to get results on the field. Two different matters.
And for me, it starts with Cutler. And we heard Trestman talk today about overthrowing targets. Cutler is throwing interceptions this season when he is airmailing passes, that he's missing his target above where he's intending the ball to go. Trestman said, what happens on these plays is that quarterback doesn't get through his left side, he throws it on the upswing. So you have a mechanical flaw that Jay Cutler is repeating in these games. We saw it against Carolina, saw it yesterday, killer interceptions. It just can't happen. And at this point, 23 games into Mark Trestman's tenure, it's up to Trestman to coach it out of him, and it's up to Jay to fix it. It's not working right now, and that's why you see things starting to, I don't want to say crack, because I'm not even necessarily there personally, but you see these questions being asked about where this team is emotionally and in their togetherness.
Well, for a reeling team, the best tonic is to go to New England and play Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the Patriots.
Yeah, sounds easy.
We're going to be heading out there next weekend to watch that game. Obviously, we'll have more coverage throughout the week from out here at Hallis Hall. For Rich Campbell, I'm Dan Wiederer. That'll do it for this edition of Bear Download.